Hey guys, it's John from Album Review TV. Time for a review of the fourth LP by Panic! At the Disco titled Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die. And it's coming out on Fueled by Ramen once again, their longtime record label. This time around they're being produced by Butch Walker. Spencer Smith did contribute, their drummer, to this album. But at the same time, he's not going to be touring with them because if you read his blog post, he's struggling with drug addiction once again. He has been off and on since almost the beginning of the band, since he was 19 years old. And he's trying to get clean once again, and being out on the road is not what's going to do that for him. That's just going to be a lot of temptation right now. With this new record, they've taken on a different sound once again. That's one thing you have to give kudos to Panic for, is that they've never made the same record twice. 2011's album, Vices and Virtues, was more in the same vein as their first record, A Fever You Can't Sweat Out, more so of course than Pretty Odd, which was a bold move on the band's part, kind of going folk. But after that album, Ryan Ross left the band as well as John Walker, and that was kind of a big departure, but the band decided to continue on, and with Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die, they've taken on more of an 80s-esque feel for many of the tracks on this record. But it's not always a good thing. Some bands these days, like 1975, are bringing back the 80s in fun and inventive ways, and with a lot of these songs on this new LP, Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die, a lot of them just kind of feel rehashed and recycled. Nothing too original coming to the table on some of these tracks. The first two singles off of this record were really, really cool. Miss Jackson was definitely one that grew on me. Features the singer Lolo. A lot of people were hating on the band for having a guest feature on the song, and you guys know I'm not a huge fan of guest vocals and guest musicians a lot of times, but this one makes sense to me, considering the song is about a woman named Miss Jackson paying tribute to Janet Jackson, because the song says, "Are You Nasty?" during the chorus. That's a reference to Janet Jackson's 1980s song, so that's a little bit of a backstory there for that, as well as Miss Jackson being about some of Brendon Urie, the lead singer's, early sexual encounters. And the song has a very dark and mysterious feel to it, and I really like the bass work on that track, and the guitar work feels kind of just, I don't know, kind of dark and cynical. Everything about the track kind of comes together. Yes, the comparisons with the can be made to My Songs Know What You Did in the Dark, the comeback single for Fall Out Boy earlier this year, but at the same time it was produced by Butch Walker as well. So yes, I understand why they sound alike, but at the same time I would have liked to have seen a little bit more creativity. This is Gospel. The second single is one of the best songs Panic! At the Disco have recorded to date. Everything about that track works. From the hard-hitting drums during the chorus, the soaring vocals, everything about that track comes together and makes a beautiful masterpiece. The song is also very personal, considering it was written about Spencer Smith by Brendon Urie, and not just that, I think it deals with a couple of topics within the song, but Brendon actually kind of held that song back from the band, he said, for a couple of months before finally having the courage to bring it to the table. And Spencer apparently was just in a drug haze still at that time and didn't even realize, that the song was kind of a cry out to him. Brendon not really knowing what to do. With Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die, I feel like the album as a whole is kind of a homage paying tribute to Brendon Urie's hometown. He had some mixed feelings about it, I know, whenever he left the town, because he was too young to really fully enjoy, I think, what the town had to offer, but now that he's grown up and can go clubbing and stuff, he actually can have fun there. The song Vegas Lights is all about that, apparently. It's just a song that he would want to hear when he was out clubbing. The album's title is also a reference to the novel Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. There's some songs on the album that just feel a little bit recycled, like I said, with the 80s style, Girls, Girls, Boys, Vegas Lights. That one just feels, it's extremely upbeat and synthy, but at the same time, it doesn't really do anything that creative. Then you get your more intriguing tracks like Girl That You Love, Casual Affair, Far Too Young to Die. Far Too Young to Die has this extremely kind of twitchy and irresistible instrumental that I cannot help but groove to. One thing I'm going to say about the entire record, it's definitely great music to either, one, dance to, or two, drive to at night. A lot of these songs have that dark and sinister feel to them, like that one. Girl That You Love is definitely one that's a little bit chilling at times. It sounds like, honestly, Girl That You Love, that is, something straight off the credits of an 80s crime drama movie with you know, the camera kind of zooming out and someone driving off into the distance as the credits start to roll. Colorful is another one of the enjoyable tracks for me personally on this record. It continues the winning streak that the later part of the album actually has going on. Yuri really stepped up to the plate on the vocals, put one of his best vocal performances on this album, on this track here with Colorful. It feels like Panic is definitely back on track and being themselves on this track and not just trying to just stick to that whole throwback 80s formula. It sounds like modern Panic. That track in particular is guitar and drum focused and driven, and I think the majority of longtime fans will like this song in particular. I also do note that there's a lot of lacking on the guitars on this record. The bass work, Dalton Weeks definitely stepped up on this record, and Far Too Young to Die is actually one of the songs that I would point out that he really showed off some of his awesome bass work there. He's one of the little known members of Panic. He's been around for a while touring with them. We obviously have to talk about The End of All Things because it's the last song of the record, and the title makes sense considering it's closing things out. If you didn't know, it's actually Brendon Urie's wedding vows turned into a song written for his wife now, Sarah. Here on this track though, things are not that interesting. I appreciate that he wanted to put this song out there for his wife and for everyone else to enjoy. And the pianos and the strings really do sound nice at times, but I don't like the fact that Brendon's vocals are vocoded. It just does not sound good and it doesn't really fit with the flow. He vocoded his vocals on a lot of songs on this record, and I definitely could do without that. Nicotine is the last song that I wanted to talk about, and it's extremely addictive, just like actual nicotine. This song is definitely one that you just want to start dancing and rocking out to. I think that's exactly what this song was built for. Pay attention to the lyrics though, because you know they can be easy to overlook, but it's actually quite clever at some points. People are always saying, you know, oh, Brendon Urie is never going to be the lyricist that Ryan Ross is. Yes, this album does struggle sometimes lyrically, finding new subjects to explore, but at the same time, Ryan Ross is never coming back and Brendon's doing a really good job. This song in particular, Nicotine, is one that I really noted that he stepped up on. I have come around on a lot of this record after a lot of initial kind of distaste and disinterest in it and just not really being sure about where they were going with their sound. And even though I have come around on some of it and come to see some of the songs in a different light, overall it does feel like it's lacking a lot of the typical Panic edge that they typically have on the majority of their records. That being said, there are still really solid tracks at some points on this record, but I am kind of torn down the middle, so it's a 3 out of 5 for me. Let me know what you thought of the new Panic at the Disco record, Too Weird to Live, Too Rare to Die, in the comments section down below. Make sure you subscribe because there's a couple reviews still coming in the next couple of days. I'm going to try and review the new Cage the Elephant as well as the new Miley Cyrus. I've had a bunch of requests for both, so I'm going to try to get those out within the next couple of days. Thanks for watching, guys, right here on Album Review TV, your home for music news and reviews.